Okay, recording this video on Sunday, the 13th of July, 2025. Just gone 1:12 a.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So it's the weekend. Time for another weekend futures market recap. Before I go through 15 of the largest futures markets, and I show you what I'm seeing on my charts. Well, what a week. Strong. Equities up, Bitcoin's up, Ethereum's up. It's all looking pretty good. I hope your trading is going well. I hope your balance sheet is looking healthy. We're going to talk about the Emini charts first, as usual, but we're also going to look at the daily charts of Bitcoin and Ethereum because they're making waves at the moment. It's interesting to look at those. And then we'll have a look at the futures markets and see if there are any trades setting up for last week and for this week coming. So I've got to say, on the Emini, on the higher time frame charts, there's nothing to say this thing is over. We're in an uptrend. But when you look at the lower time frame charts and the 13,500 tip bar chart, we could have a nice little short trade setting up at the beginning of this week. But let's get to that in a second. So here we go. Daily chart. Sometimes I show you at ES.D, which is the day session only. Sometimes I show you at ES, which is day and night session. The only reason I'm showing you at ES is because on this chart, we have an amateur bar at the highs. There's not that showing on the at ES.D chart, but it's just instructive. Just mean there's amateur activity at the highs. We've got 4.7 million in terms of momentum. It's healthy. It's not overdone. The background's in red. We are in an uptrend. We're through resistance on a couple of time frames, low and intermediate time frame here, but as I said, nothing on this highest time frame charts to worry us particularly. 135-minute chart, exactly 3 135-minute bars in a day session of the Emini. And it looks identical to the daily chart with red background, the trailing stops miles away. No amateur bars here on this activity at the highs there a little bit earlier on in the week. And we're through resistance, but no pullback to end of trends signaling on the 135-minute chart there. So 45-minute chart. Here, the trailing stop is a little bit tighter at 6,224, but at those highs, no blue professional bars. They were there a while ago, but it's looking like a little bit of a double top. And you'll see this on the 13,500 tip bar chart here. We gapped up, that was that little island reversal gap. We came down, amateur down bars here, so the amateurs getting wrong-footed a little bit, going short at that point, and then we come back up. It's a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, but we're so far past resistance on the highest time frame here. This is going to have to put in a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame on the 45-minute chart. But it's interesting at the moment. And the momentum read close to the zero line, negative 3,000. We put in this exhaustion buy, bearish divergence flush pattern last week, and we're just coming back to those levels and coming down. So we're running out of puff on the 45-minute chart. Here's the 15-minute chart, and here it's a little bit tighter. So this was the activity that we had that set off this last 3-week leg. The solid vertical yellow lines are the beginnings and the ends of the week, and we had this weakness, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence right on the zero line, so we wait for a flush pattern after that, and that marked that little low there, and then we cranked into an uptrend. Background turns red, it's all good. Exhaustion buy patterns here, this one getting the move going. This one we started to run out of puff, and we ended up with flush patterns up here, and now we've come back again this week with exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and flush. Again, bearish divergence close to the zero line, so we wait for our flush pattern, and that rolled over, and now we've got some weakness with Friday's activity. So this level here is 6,267 to 68, so that's going to be important going forward. So that's the 15-minute chart. And here on cycles, yep, we've had pullback to end of trends, but nothing, it hasn't turned white yet. So the bars haven't broken a significant support level at the moment. So it's still in a uptrending move on better sine wave. But let's see, 62, 67 is the critical number here on the 15-minute chart. But here we go. This is the 13,500 tip bar charts. Cycles first. So here on this time frame, we broke into an uptrend above resistance on the highest time frame, and yeah, we made some pullback to end of trends here. More pullback to end of trends on the left shoulder, more pullback to end of trend on another left shoulder here, and then with this activity we put in a support to resistance on the highest time frame. So on the highest time frame, that trending activity played itself out. We kept on pushing up. We had a sign of weakness up here. We're beneath resistance. We've got a triple going on at the moment. Triple resistance on the low, intermediate, and the highest time frame, but the bars are still red, so we're waiting for that to crack. And on better pro-am and better momentum, here we go. So the prior 2 weeks, this is where we got our exhaustion patterns into this move, and then that topping out pattern at the end of last week was a flush pattern, and we got a sign of weakness after that and a signal. But got into Rambo patterns and it bounced off those. Now, what we're seeing at the moment, which we've not seen for a while, is squeezes. So squeezes are when the support and resistance lines on better sine wave in the 3 time frames are close together and price is close to those levels. Last time we saw these was back here, we squeezed and then we broke into a trending move. This activity that we've seen this week has been a whole bunch of squeezes going on here. So it's getting very tight in terms of support and resistance on better sine wave. You can see here they're very close together. Price is very close to all of those. And that's why we're getting all of these squeezes. So we'll bust out of a squeeze with a trending move. We ramped off the Rambo patterns here. These were blue professional bars into the highs, taking profits up here at 63.35. We came back just to test, bang, blue professional bar steps in here. We get another move through. We break the trailing stop there. We're in a downtrend and we're in a dark pattern at the moment, which means that the background is in black because we don't have confirmation from better sine wave. Better sine wave, the bars are still red, showing that we're in an uptrend. We haven't broken a significant support yet on better sine wave, but as soon as we do that, the background will turn grey, we'll be into a downtrend. This amateurs moving too quickly into that move, they get shaken out and we go hit some stops. That's sitting right up there at 63.35, bang, and then we move from there and we've got this weak pattern going on. So I think that's good for a potential setup this week. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on the 13,500 tip bar chart. The last time we had bad news was tariff related, and I think this weekend Trump is again talking about 30% tariffs on a bunch of countries. So maybe it's the tariff news again that's going to set us off to the downside. But the technicals, the professional activity is really what I'm looking for. I'm not reading news and saying, oh, the market's heading down because of that. What I'm looking at is this activity. We test into those highs, can't make it through, flush patterns going on, and we're now looking to make confirmation of a downtrend here on the 13,500 tip bar chart. So there we go. E-mini chart's done. Bitcoin, let us look at this. Bitcoin's always tricky to look at different charts because we've got the Bitcoin index, we got the Bitcoin futures, and this is BTC USD, which is the Forex type data that comes out of TradeStation for Bitcoin. And what I'm looking at is the daily chart here, so 1440-minute chart. You do that because you get kind of volume signals using the 1440-minute chart as opposed to the daily chart here. But let's have a look at this. And what it shows us is we're in an uptrend. The background's in red, bang, bang, bang. We just keep on going through little sequences of weakness when it turns dark here with the background in black. But eventually it comes around, and our trailing stop has been pretty good all the way up. This little one got broken a little bit, but we kept on going up and up and up. And the sequence is, over the last, what is that, 2 years, 3 years, is to push to new highs, exhaustion buys. These blue bars come in the squares, showing us professionals are active at those highs, and we have some weakness from there. We come back to that last breakout area, and then professionals come in, or the amateurs get wrong-footed at this point. We get a little bit of a squeeze pattern here. We bust out of that, just like we busted out of this squeeze into this move, bust out of these squeezes into this move. And this one was coming into December 2025, when Bitcoin was coming back up to 100, and this was when effectively the Trump administration was showing that it was predisposed to the crypto side, and we got a rush of activity after the election into those highs. We came off, didn't touch the 70,000 trading stop here, but moved on there. And then coming through these recent highs, I think that number was, what was that number there? 109. We came through there, came back a little bit. So we bumped through it a couple of times, then came back, amateur down bars, and now we've pushed through. Yeah, it's a Rambo pattern, but you've got to see the amateur bars that's part of those Rambo sequence to be broken for that to show a change in trend. Not worried about that. That's what we've got to be worried about, blue professional bars when they come in. We've not seen them yet on the 1440-minute chart there. So that's interesting. And then in terms of cycles, what was happening up there, that's why we had trouble at 109. Resistance on the highest time frame, pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, syncing up together, came down for some weakness, came back to pull back to end of trend, and then we busted up through another resistance on the highest time frame. So I've been bullish for Bitcoin for a long while, and this is good. On the lower time frame charts, this is a 13,500 tip bar chart here. This last sequence that we had into these lows, June 21st, 22nd, down here, exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars, a blue box, bang, break into an uptrend here. Some profit taking at this point, didn't go anywhere, and then we've launched on through. Now, some of these blue professional bars up here were getting us through that previous resistance. That's a gathering pattern at 111, 112, getting us through here. But now they're taking profits a little bit. But still, the trailing stop is miles away. So let's just wait and see how high this move can go at this point. In terms of cycles on the 13,500 tip bar chart, we've got to see pullback to end of trend on the intermediate time frame and probably on the high as well. So there we go. So that's Bitcoin is racing away. Ethereum, now on the daily chart, Ethereum topped out a while ago at 4,000 up here. And it's a bit messy because we had blue professional bars, big pro bars up here at the highs at 4,000, taking profits. They sold off and then they came back in at 1,005. So we've got blue professional bars grabbing at 2, grabbing at 1.5, and then we've broken into an uptrend here. The exhaustion sell patterns that happened to this point here, amateur down bars, and now we've raced up to 3,000. So the 4,000 mark is going to be important on Ethereum, but this is catching up. No blue professional bars, backgrounds in red. We're in an uptrend. We've had a signal. We're just breaking out of this recent move here, so that's good for Ethereum on this longer time frame chart. In terms of cycles, here same thing. So resistance on the highest time frame. That's why we couldn't get through 4,000, and then at 1,005. Everything comes together, pull back to end of trend on the lowest time frame, just overshot support on the intermediate time frame. We've got support in the highest time frame, sign of strength. We bust into an uptrend, and we're doing the same thing, busting above resistance on the intermediate time frame. So on the daily charts, all looking good on Ethereum. And unlike Bitcoin, what did we say on Bitcoin? Was there an exhaustion pattern here? Yeah, there was. So on the 13,000, we had exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. But on the Ethereum chart, same thing, 13,500, no exhaustion buy up here. Those blue professional bars, significant high that we're busting through. So that's almost like a gathering pattern, blue professional bars busting us up through there, coming off with the amateur down bars at that point. So let's see. I think that's healthy, going to keep on going. We had a signal down here June 23rd for this thing to rocket, and until we see exhaustion buy patterns there on Ethereum, it's looking good. What about the futures markets? We'll rip through those quickly. Let me just show you this one first. So this is a complex correction being made at the moment from the euro. So beginning into the ends of the week. So 3 weeks ago we bottomed, had all these signs of strength, and we ripped into an uptrend, a trending move on the way up. But you can see here though, on the way down, we're just batting backwards and forwards between resistance on the intermediate time frame. Bang, 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 like that. That's a complex correction on the way down. So all we need is this thing to catch and then to rip through 118 again. Let us see what's happening down here. Yep, we got big pro bars coming at the lows, exhaustion sell. We got a signal on the euro at the end of last week. So let us see if the euro keeps going. And noticed on these charts, if you're a user of the better indicators, just ignore these solid red lines. It's something I'm just playing with at the moment on the better indicators. Normally I take those off the charts, but this week I've forgot to do that. So apologies if that's confusing people. These signals are the better squeeze signals here. So those will be on your charts. British pound. British pound is not ready to turn around quite yet, but a whole bunch of Rambo patterns here at the lows. And no blue professional bars yet, but we could have a bounce of those Rambo patterns down there this week. At the highs, yep, 2 weeks ago we had signals short, and it's been in a downtrend ever since. Aussie dollar now. I had a nice trade on the Aussie this week because we had these nice squeeze patterns. We bottomed with exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, and this thing raced away. And now in terms of cycles, we're through resistances here. The bars are red. The background's in red here on the Aussie dollar. No exhaustion buy at that point. So that's interesting to get through 66 on the Aussie if that keeps going. Japanese yen, so it's sold off from last week's signal short. We came back up. That was, I forget what news it was. So much going on. Must have been the Fed. And the yen fell off, came back up to test into that area, stair-step trade. Blue professional bars come in, bang, bang, bang. We're on the way down. Some blue professional bars at the lows, but not a heap. And 10 years, yeah, 10 years going down. We've had signals over the last 2 weeks. We topped out with exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, big pro bars here, the backgrounds in blue, and then they got short with a signal here and down, down, down. Didn't bottom with blue professional bars at the lows. They came in again here on the retrace here and then sold it down, and at the moment they've not come in again down there. So we're still on the downtrend in 10 years, but that was the signal short 2 weeks ago. So bonds down, which means that rates are going to stay high. And gold, what's happened this week? Yeah, so blue professional bars, Rambo patterns. We ramped off the Rambo patterns. We got blue professional bars coming again here at the highs on gold. So that's interesting there. And silver ripped this week. So it's been basing and basing at 36. Exhaustion sell here. This signal went nowhere. We tried to break, and then the blue professional bars come in. Exhaustion buy getting the move going. Now, why isn't that topping the move out? Because that is not happening at a new high. That's just getting us going out of this channel here. It took a while, but then they came back in here and here, and then we broke above 37s and really got going up at 39s. Exhaustion buy up here? No, not yet, but big pro buyers up here on silver, so that was a good trade on silver. And crude looks like it's itching to bust out again. So we've been basing down here at 64. Some profit taking here, but then the blue professional bar stepped in, got going on the upside. In terms of cycles, yeah, we got support on the highest time frame. So this is our strong downtrend move. And then we've not been able to break down and support on the highest time frames coming here, and we're breaking resistance on the intermediate time frame. So that's important. That could break into a trending move on crude. Natural gas, a whole bunch of blue professional bars. That's what I like to see. So exhaustion patterns, big pro bars, the background's in blue, more background in blue. 315, we bottomed there, we race away, come back up. Haven't had blue professional bars taking profits here, so natural gas is in an uptrend. Now copper, this is all news related. This is all the tariffs on copper. All of a sudden it just busts up from $5 to almost $6 here with exhaustion buy. But that's an unstable pattern. We've got blue professional bars, big pro bars, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence. It's not unlike the crude pattern that we had 3 or 4 weeks ago with the Iran news, and it weakened from there. So we're in a downtrend. Background's in grey on copper. So let's see if we break through 540 on the way down. And corn, so we're doing the ags. So corn coming in, blue professional bars at the lows down here, big pro bars and so on. No exhaustion sell down here. We've not broken into an uptrend yet, but the professionals are looking interested on corn. Soybeans, similar thing, yeah. We've got a signal long at the moment. We've got big pro bars coming in here. Let's see that 1,002 level holds, and we break through 1,016 on soybeans. And lastly, wheat. Yeah, so wheat topped out last week. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, and we roll over, signal short, and it's not a classic stair-step trade there. But let's see, we're in a downtrend. The background's in grey, so let's see if this continues down on wheat. So there we go. I hope that video wasn't too long. And let's see if the Emini, we get that signal short at the beginning of this week, and let's see where Ethereum goes and Bitcoin goes. Very interesting. Anyway, hope your trading is going well.